Hey, good evening and welcome to Feel Good Talk Love 101. I'm your host, Charles Brakely, along with the host of Love 101, my man, my brother from another, Naeem Najib. What's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Hey, everybody, I'm well. How's everybody doing? How are you doing, Charles?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Just doing, just waiting to, hear and see what we're talking about tonight. And I think I got it tonight. We're talking about, well, I'll let you tell it because you always tell it. So I'm going to let you tell what we're talking about.
We're talking about what's on the minds of many, what's on the minds of anybody listening, right?
That's right. And again, the title is Ask the Love Doctor.
Yes, this is your opportunity to use me as a resource to your relationship questions and comments. So it's like an open therapy session, open conversation about. So it's not just about me, it's about us having a conversation.
Awesome.
I might ask questions too. I pose questions, put it out there, and see what we can talk about today. So put your questions in the chat or your comments in the chat. We know we got about a 30-second delay for the Facebook. So, just post it there. We'll get around to it though.
And let's not forget about our excuse me, our YouTube viewers as well. So definitely on YouTube as well. FGT, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. Check us out on there as well. But before we get started, we got to pay homage to our sponsor for the day. And our sponsor is the A Game. And check this out, Naeem. I got a new commercial for the A Game today. You might like it. Let's go. Here we go. All right, and that is the A Game. Great for vitality, energy, strength, and libido. I have a few more free samples, so give me a call at 302-723-2836. Again, 302-723-2836. And how you like that commercial, Naeem? You like that one?
Yeah, that was cool.
Okay. So that's one of them. I got about 6 more new ones to play, so we'll try to work that in soon. But anyway, back to you, brother. What's going on for the night?
That's funny. I was saying earlier, how do you go from having one commercial all the time to 7? It's like yeah, everybody, I got 6 new ones all of a sudden. That's
right.
Great, but yeah,
I had to find them, man. I had to dig them up, so that was the problem. So, hey, before we get started, we might as well go right into the comments because they're commenting hard right now. So, I want to give a shout out to my man Temu Garrett. He says, "What's up, fellas? Hey, shout out to my man Temu. Hey, man, good seeing you, man. He came all the way. He was back in town not last week, and I got a chance to see him. So it was always great seeing my man. He's a great dude. So again, hey, I see you when you get back, Temu. We got Billy Rick. He says peace and blessings." And he also says, I want to stop the division between people working on the same accord. I don't know. You got to elaborate on that. But we're talking about love tonight, basically. But Billy, just elaborate on that a little bit more, brother. Okay, good. Hey, everybody. This is my man, Naeem. There you go. And
why you skip over Naeem's comments? Why don't Naeem get any love?
Naeem says, hey, everybody, ask questions. Cool. All right. And then he also says, what do you mean, Billy? Right. That's the same thing I was saying. And Temu, thanks, Temu. He said, nice commercial. Appreciate it, brother. And Sheila Renee Moore says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Sheila. Thanks for tuning in. So we got some people tuning in early. That's awesome. And like I said, if you got any questions, please ask us. Did you see the title? Ask the Love Doctor. This is open conversations about love and relationships. All right.
And open conversations, not just questions, comments as well. So Billy basically gave a comment saying, I want to stop the division between people working on the same accord. I support that. I also would like that to happen. And again, any more specifics you have on that, please let us know, Billy. And let's talk about what love is, though. Y'all, again, Love Doctor is a title that y'all gave me. It's funny because years ago, like maybe 4 years ago, I was on this radio show every week. I think it was Wednesday too. And they would also call me the Love Doctor. They're like, oh, Love Doctor's here. I'm like, I never said I was a love doctor, but y'all want to say I'm the love doctor? Fine, I'm the love doctor. I receive it. It's okay. And so let's go. Let's do this. And so if we're going to talk about love, what the love doctor is talking about is not the same love that most people have in their minds, which is some amorphous anomaly of love that we don't, everybody has a different understanding of it. Let's go straight to the chart on this, which is love and fear. We're going to talk about the fundamental principles of love and fear. So what is love? When we say what is love, we mean the principles of love, meaning all of these things that says love is, this is what love is. Love is freedom. Love is appreciation. Love is communication. Love is trust and truth. And that's what I'm here to share, the truth. And love is sincerity. And so those acronyms spell out facts. So there's not like those are the only expressions of love, but they are just the ones that spell out facts to make it easy to remember. So when someone says, what is love? It's like, it's freedom, y'all. It's appreciation. That's what it is. So if you're not being appreciated, you're not being loved. If someone's trying to control you, they don't love you. If someone's blocking communication, there's not love. If someone's not telling you the truth or sharing the truth about themselves or trusting or being sincere, it's not love. Or if you're not doing this, if you're not being sincere, if you're trying to act like someone else because you think that they'll like you more, you're not being truthful, you're not being sincere, you're not being loving. Clear, right? Yes, it is, of course, because I'm impeccable when I express the truth, and it's very clear when I express it. So it's clear. So fear, what is fear? Well, meaning the opposite of love or dysfunctional relationships. So we got F for fear. So you're afraid. When you're not expressing love, you're expressing what? Attack, anger, abuse, those sorts of things we're familiar with. Conflict and confusion. We experience trauma and separation of our heart, separation of our connection, not just of our bodies. So people who live together and who are totally separate. We already know about this, right? So these are the fundamental principles of love and fear, the facts of love and fear. So when we're talking about love, this is what we're talking about. So I think we have some more comments. Let's go to those and then we'll pick up on the conversation. Just wanted to put that in your ears and eyes first. So Temu says, why y'all think people don't love in this day and time back like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s? Well, it's a good question. I mean, everyone in every generation is going to express love, appreciation, and communication the same way they do. But is there any more clarity you want to give to that? Because then, I mean, I can give my opinion on it. You can give your opinion on it. But when you say they don't love in this day like they loved back then, what do you mean? What's the main difference, Temu? What do you mean is the main difference? So I think of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm thinking of like the Temptations and, those doo-wop bands and stuff. But that's not all that happened in the 60s and 70s and 80s. So I want to know exactly what you mean when you say, what's the biggest disparity between how this generation is expressing love and how that one was? And let's go to our next comment. So Billy Rip says, what I mean is bring people together that have the same aim with different views of life. Like how religion divide people with the same goal of reaching heaven. That's a good point. Bring a religion there, then, you can have family members that have different religions and be at each other's necks over that. They say politics and religion and money and property and stuff like that. That gets people all up in each other's And when I'm talking about love here, I'm not talking about a religion. I'm talking about a universal principle, the universal principles of freedom, appreciation, communication, trust, truth, sincerity. And that can be expressed in conjunction with a religion or not. And if a religion or a teaching or a political party or an ideology is in alignment with your freedom, with you being appreciated for who you are, with communication, with trust, and telling the truth and sincerity, then that they're in the mindset of love. Because here at Love 101 Media, we teach the mindset and the skill set of love. We teach that it can be learned and mastered like a skill, not something that you just fumble into and it's like, hey, I'm just walking down the street and all of a sudden, oh, trip, fell. Where'd you fall in? Oh, look, get up and look. Oh, it looks like a puddle of love. I just fell in some love, guys. This is great. It's like, when's the last time you fell and you celebrated because you fell? Unless you were jumping out of a plane or something. And that was intentional. But falling usually means it's an accident, and it usually means you get hurt. So you don't want to fall in love. How can you join in love? How can you intentionally ascend and connect lovingly with someone? Well, let's pick one thing: appreciation. If I appreciate you, I'm joining in love with you. Whether I like you or not, whether I know you or not, whether we have a long-term relationship or not, I can appreciate someone just because I want to appreciate them. Period. It doesn't have to be for a specific reason. I can just be like, I appreciate that you are here. I appreciate your being. And that's love. And you can get even more specific. I appreciate that you guys are joining and listening and adding comments and questions. I appreciate that. It's all love, right? And so back to your question. So bringing people together that have the same aim with different views of life. Well, that's the great experiment of life, right? We're all going to have different views about things, from politics and religion to which of the 31 flavors of Baskin Robbins ice cream we want to eat, if we even eat ice cream at all. Or I don't eat the dairy. I don't want the dairy ones. We all going to have different views and opinions, and that's okay. Love would be full acceptance of someone's views and opinions. And if it's not interfering, interrupting, or inserting itself in your life in a way that's detrimental, then let them live, right? So let's continue on to some other ones. So Jamila says, you are the love doctor. I am the love doctor. This is Sparta. Thank you. And says, does love grant you peace? Well, keep that comment up for a moment, because I want to look at this. Does love grant you peace? So it's asking if love over here gives you this over here. So that's like saying, okay, well, if I drink this water, will I be hydrated? That would be a yes, right? You drink the water, you get hydrated. But here's the thing: love and peace are the same thing. Okay. So love does not just grant you peace. Love is peace. So if you have love, you have peace. There's no way to say, oh, I'm not in peace, let me get some love and then I'll have peace. If you're not in peace, so you're in conflict, then you have resolution and love, you have peace. It's the same thing. Appreciation is peace. Freedom is peace. Communication is peace. Trust is peace. Sincerity is peace. They're all peace. And there's no pieces of that. It's all whole, one whole universal truth, which applies to everything. So what does it mean to you, Billy, and everyone listening, to have peace in your life, peace in your relationship? What does it mean to have peace in your body, peace in your mind, peace in how you feel, peace in your being, peace in your day? What does that mean? And in the definition we're using, it means love. And it doesn't mean you have to accept that or welcome it. It's just what I'm offering. And since it's the truth, it don't really matter if you accept it or not, because it's still going to be true. It's like, I'm like, hey, everybody, my name is Naeem. Somebody's in the comments like, I don't believe your name is Naeem. Your name is Jerome. I'm like, okay, you don't have to believe my name is Naeem. Doesn't mean my name is not Naeem. What if I go back and forth with them? Yeah, my name is Naeem. Let me show you my ID. Don't be calling me no Jerome. Ah. What's the point? The truth is going to be true, whether you believe it or not. So I don't argue or go back and forth. That's one thing love doesn't do. Love does not debate, because debate and argument weakens both sides of the argument or debate. People think that in a debate, they're going to get someone to see their way of seeing things when they already prepared all their notes. They got everything, trying to convince you of their way of seeing. So this is what we do in an argument. Let's just say Give me any topic, Charles, that people normally argue over, or any type of tension that people will have in an argument that you could think of on the top of your head.
What was that again? Say it again.
Any type of topic that people normally argue about or debate about. Like give me anything.
Man, that's easy. Money.
Money. Okay. So let's say it's about let's say money, right? Let's just say I think you should give me some money, right? Let's use that because that's what people. It's like, yeah, man, I always ask you for money. Just give me some money, man. You're like, no, I'm not giving you no more money. I'm not giving you no more money because you're not gonna pay me back. I'm not gonna give you money. It's like, no, man, I'm gonna pay you back this time. Yeah, just give me some money, man. I swear, everything I own, I'll give you money. Like, is this what you really expect to happen? Somebody's like, yeah, just give me some money. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you some money. I'm gonna give you some money right now because you said it, and I believe you. And that's, how much money you need? Give me. Here's the money. And even something, let's say more inflammatory, like someone's arguing about some type of political stance or some type of belief they have, right? I'm not even going to get into specifics. Someone's like, this is what I believe, and then or accusing you, even better, right? When someone's like, listen, you don't care about me, you don't love me, I'm telling you, you don't pay enough attention to me, and you need to start paying more attention to me, and so and so. And they're like, but I do pay attention to you. What are you talking about? And then do you expect them to say, well, you know what? No, listen to me, you don't pay enough attention to you. And here's what you expect to happen, right? You know what? I've listened to what you said just now about me not paying enough attention to you, and I don't pay enough attention to you. You're totally right. I'm totally absent-minded when it comes to you, and I could be paying so much more attention to you. And if you didn't say what you said to me just now, I wouldn't have even understood it. I wouldn't even have known that you don't believe I pay enough attention to you, and that's true, and what I'm saying is false, and I'm going to go ahead and believe what you're saying. I'm going to pay more attention to you now because you said it just like that. Do we really believe that's what's going to happen? When people are in a heated argument, there is nothing of the kind that's going to happen. It doesn't even matter if the person is dead wrong. They're not going to ease up on their position because you are making more sense than them. Arguments are not sensible. Arguments, the definition of argument is a competition of inflamed, fearful feelings. Say it with me. It's a competition of inflamed, fearful feelings. And let's go back to what fear is. All right, I'm gonna bring back up the tab. So please share the screen again, if you would, Charles. So what are fearful feelings? Fearful feelings are about attack, anger, conflict, confusion, trauma, separation. Arguments are about that. It's like I'm dug into this position of conflict. I'm upset, and I'm not going to listen to what you said. I'm closed off. And so that's what an argument means. So to argue, to engage in that means that you just want the energy that's involved in that, which is absolutely conflictual and absolutely going nowhere except further conflict. So if that's what you want, you're on the right track for arguing and debating. If you want peace, as Billy said, does love grant you peace? Here's my question. Does love argue? That's my question to everybody. Does love argue? And I know it's a little delay, so if you say yes or no, just please say yes, love argues, or no, love doesn't argue, so we know what you're referring to. Let's continue on with the next comment. Izzy, hello, Izzy. Thank you for joining. Temu says, I'm talking about when back in the day, love was shown more instead of just saying it. Like back in the day, we could borrow bread, milk, whatever from our neighbors. But nowadays, we don't even know our neighbors because people tend to stay to themselves. Thank you for saying that, Temu. So they won't even let you borrow their Wi-Fi password, right? That's real love. I let you use my 5G. Now I'm a real neighbor. I got neighbor stripes. That's neighbor of the month, y'all. Free Wi-Fi for everybody. But don't everybody use it at once. So I'm gonna change my password. Okay, now I'm back to not sharing. So anyway, so that's a good point, Temu. I don't really know how to answer that because the way I'm thinking about it is, I don't know. I don't have the empirical evidence of how much people shared resources back in the day and how much people share resources now. Maybe that's your experience, but I know what you can do though. You can be the one that continues to exemplify those qualities that you value, like sharing resources with your neighbors, asking about people's well-being, being the example of that. You can definitely do that. And anyone who's willing to do that can do that. And I'm sure that would make an impact. So, but I hear what you're saying though. And Sky says, Temu says, wow, I agree. And Sky says, hello, fam. Hello, Sky. Billy says, needed this. Thank you for asking the question and clarifying, Billy. Sky says, this time, quote unquote. Dreddy Gal says, thank you both as always. Yes, all clear. You have mentioned you work with people, couples, etc. Are there particular strategies or exercises that can be helpful if two people are trying to decide whether to stay together or get divorced, for example, or in any intimate relationship? Thanks again. That's a good question. I know several people who are dealing with this question, meaning stay together, get divorced, and then just people transitioning in their lives with friendships or work and roommates and things like that, different types of relationships that people are dealing with. I get you. And to answer that question, any particular strategies, I'll give you a principle for this. The principle is this. There's two principles. The first principle is any two people who know that their love cannot be threatened and are willing to express that love to each other despite whatever else may come, there's nothing that can separate them. Nothing. There's nothing that can separate them, that can keep them separate, that can hurt or demolish their relationship, except the belief that somehow their relationship is not real or their love is not real. But if they really believe that, there's nothing they cannot do together. Now, if that is not the case, which a lot of times it is, meaning there's some grievances going on, there's some changes that someone wants to have. And here's the principle of separation. If this were different, I'd be happy. Meaning if you were different, I'd be happy. If you stopped doing, fill in the blank, I'd be happy. If you started doing, fill in the blank, I'd be happy. If you were made more money, I'd be happy. If you came home earlier, I'd be happy. If you called me more often, I'd be happy. Any of these things, fill in the blank, it's up to you. This is a universal principle. If this were different, this is the fill in the blank part, I would be happy. That is the recipe for trauma, separation, upset, attack, guilt, anger, all of that. And so that in that situation, there is nothing that can keep two people who either one of them believe that about the other. There's nothing that can keep them together. Okay? Because there is no way that you, me, or anybody is going to change another human being. Human beings are going to be human beings. And the person you're with is the person you're with. And even if they've changed over time to a different person than the person you've met, this is the person you got right now. This is the person that's showing up. Do you accept them fully or not? If you don't, then it's important to come to terms with that in yourself. And if you want to come together for some type of mutual consultation, it's good to have a mediator. So, like I do that mediation, my team does that mediation, talk to people who are going through transitions and such. But if you don't have a mediator, at least get a book. Take a look. It's in a book. And trust me, I've looked and I wrote books. I'm sorry. I just cracked myself up. Give me a second. That was funny. All right. So yeah, take a look. It's in a book. And I got plenty of books. And in those books will be questions to address certain concerns, such as if we should be married or divorced. There's a guide I wrote with the Love 101 media family called, it feels embarrassing not to remember the name, but it has to do with marriage. It's a healthy marriage guide. All right. So I don't remember the names of my books, just for the record, everybody in public. Don't ask me what I wrote. Just know that I wrote it and it's good. Okay. I'm too busy writing new stuff to be thinking about the stuff that I wrote, but it's Happily Ever After, Keys to a Healthy Marriage, a Guide to a Healthy Marriage. That's what it's called. All right. So yeah, look that up. You'll figure it out. That's the only marriage book out there that I'm responsible for putting out. And it has to do with getting to know the person deeper and saying, are we really aligned in money, in religion, in politics, in children, in health, and diet, and different things. And even if we're not, at least we know what's our breaking point, what's our standards, what's our bottom line, what's our breaking point. Like, okay, no, I'm not going beyond this. It's like, okay, I already have a child. I don't want any more children, but you want children. So that to me is, that's a deal breaker. You gotta know what your deal breakers are. And it goes through all of that. So I would say that would be good. And also to pick up a book like Love Is Not a Game, Trust Is Not a Game. Set the goal in your relationship and decide if it's a goal that you both are willing to continue to work toward or not. Just be honest with each other. And trust me, if people are asking that question, more times than not, they know that it's time to have a mutual separation. It can be a peaceful separation or divorce or what have you. And that's okay too. And there's a way to go about that without making it hurtful. So it's okay to not be together anymore, y'all. It's okay to divorce. It's okay to break up. It's okay to feel bad about it. It's okay to not know how to do it. And it's okay to feel like you failed in your relationship because somehow the relationship's not working out. But guess what? It's not your fault. It's not your fault. We're all trying to work things out the best way we can. And it can be difficult. And so that's something I wanted to add. Sky says, yes, love does argue, but love will enable the parties to understand, make sense, and love again, perhaps. Thank you for that comment, Sky. I have a question. Is it possible to make someone understand or to enable someone to understand? Is it possible to do that every single time with every person? That's my question to you as anyone. Is it possible, if you have a point, to make someone understand your point? And I'm saying you're talking the same language as them. You're using clear words. You're writing it. You're doing skywriting. You're doing all kinds of things. What's it called? Body language. You're doing all of this. Is it possible every time to make them understand or to enable them to understand? That's my question. There's no right or wrong answers here. We're just having a conversation. And so anyone else, does love argue? That's my question. Remember, the definition of an argument is a competition of inflamed, fearful feelings. First book I wrote was called Love Is Not a Game. A game is a competition. So I'm going to just leave it at that for my answer. Dreddy Gal says, thank you for the thoughtful response. It's okay if you don't remember the names of your books. LOL. Still appreciate you writing them and offering all of this for us to use. Thank you, Dreddy Gal, because that just reminded me of a goal I had years ago. And one of the goals I had was to make such a contribution to the world, to have such a full life that I forget half the stuff that I did. But I did it, and it was great and enjoyable. But that I would forget more stuff than the average person would actually live and do. And I'm not saying that, I don't, the average person, but I'm saying that I do not want to live an average life. An average life is a life of accepting the programming that you've been given for what love is. All I'm doing is with everyone here publicly is what I did with myself privately, is challenge the idea that I know what love is and that what I was told love is what love is. And all I did was ask questions. Well, if love is hurtful, then how can love also be healing? If love is argument, which is conflict, how can love also be resolution? If love is something that we all want, why does relationships go through times where it's extremely painful unnecessarily? And you ask anybody, do you want pain? And they say no. So if we want love, but love is pain and we don't want pain, is love pain? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. And that's what I'm inviting you all to do here too. Ask questions. Question the reality you've been given and the beliefs you've been offered. I don't know. Maybe you'll grow. Maybe you'll use common sense and decide that, hey, maybe there's another way of looking at this. I don't know. Billy Rick says, I would say it depends on the mindset of the individual you're speaking with. Is that in response to the love and argument question? I'm not sure. But if it is, you're right. Because if that individual wants to define love as argument, they're free to do so. If we're looking at the truth, which is universal for what love is, then we may have a different, we may have a different answer. So Sky says, show love by sharing this broadcast. Thank you. Thank you, Sky. I'm going to go to the private chat in the back. HT.
Yeah, shout out to Sky. Shout out to everybody out there. But, shout out to everybody out there that's supporting Feel Good Talk Love 101. We definitely appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you.
And I'm on mute now. I'm not on mute. All right. So HT says, love does no, love does not argue. B says, yes, it can, because it might be pushing you to grow or elevate your experience, your frequency. Okay. And the other thing was about between you and Kinsu. So, all right. So here's my question. Does love push? Does love force? Here's the question I'm asking is, we're all here. Well, let me start with this. Does anyone here know everything? That's my question to everybody out there. Does anyone out there claim to know everything? When I say everything, I mean the past, the present, the future, everything on everyone's mind, everything macrocosm, everything in every dimension, everything in the cosmos, everything in the microcosm, everything. Does everyone know everything? How anything will turn out based on, how if I do this, this will happen. So I guarantee if I say this, I'm going to tell a child, hey, you should be a doctor. I'm going to whisper that in their ear. And I'll say, 20 years from now, they're going to be a doctor. Watch. For 100% certainty, I bet my life on it. Do you know this? All right. So HT says no. Kinsu says no to that question. So my question is, if you don't know everything, how do you know that what you're proposing to someone is going to be helpful? Meaning you look at someone and say, this person needs to grow. This person needs to learn. This person needs to, figure something out. So I'm going to create a scenario, let's say an argument, a competition, a challenge for them, a hostile environment for them to work through, to challenge their position, to come to another conclusion. Because I know that their conclusion is wrong and my conclusion is right, because I know everything, right? I'm just saying, do you know everything? How do you know that just because your intentions are good to help someone see something differently, and because it worked for you? I'm going to just say this as an example. I'm going to say this as a general example. I'm a person and I say, hey, marriage worked for me. I'm happy. I'm happily married. Now you over there, you're single. You need to get married. Why are you single? It's not good. That's wrong. Or why are you just dating? That's wrong. You need to settle down and get married. This is what you should be doing. And I know this because it works for me. I'm happy. I don't think you're happy. I don't think your life is working out for you. Why? Because you're not married. Who's to say that just because it worked for me, it's going to work for you? And I may be arguing with you over being single and being married, but who's to say that I know that marriage is what works for you? Who's to say that I know that a college diploma works for you? Who says that I know that working a job works for you? Who's to say that I know that starting a business works for you? Just because it worked for me, how do I know it works for you? If I'm going to argue with you over something, I should at least be coming from a position where I know for sure, for certainty, that what I'm putting in your head or what I'm challenging you on is going to no doubt benefit you. But who can claim that? Who can claim that what I'm going to give you is going to benefit you or benefit everybody without a doubt? Even what I'm talking about, I don't get up here and argue with anybody and say that you're wrong, you're right. I said, listen, I'm Naeem. Y'all call me the love doctor. I'm letting you know what the position of love is based on how it's been revealed to me. It's universal truth. And I don't say that, oh, well, everybody else is wrong, I'm right. I'm saying, let's just ask questions. If you say love is sex and I say love is appreciation, or this is not even me, someone else says love is appreciation. My question is, can people that have sex love each other? Yes. Can people that have sex not love each other? Yes. So how can you say love is sex if it's possible to not love someone and have sex with them? I'm just asking a question. If we say love is appreciation, can you appreciate someone that you have sex with? Yes. Can you appreciate someone that you don't have sex with? Yes. And universal means it works for everyone. So can you appreciate someone? Think of someone. Can you appreciate them? Yes. Can you appreciate anyone if you wanted to? Yes, you could. Do you have to? No, but you could. So that's what makes it universal. And we have to start asking questions, y'all. We have to start thinking a little deeper, because what we've been taught is a very superficial, cursory understanding of love, which is just, it's disrespectful to your intelligence as human beings. Like, you're smarter than that. You're smarter than the idea that love is just painful, or love is painful and love is pleasure. Love is healing and hurtful. Like, you're smarter than that. You know better than that. I'm not saying that you're wrong to believe it. I'm just saying that if you use common sense would tell you that something can't be hurtful and helpful at the same time. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to use a classic example that I always use. You have a car. Someone's like, here, I'm going to give you this car for free. One thing, though, the brakes on this car work 99% of the time, which means, you press on the brakes most of the time, they'll work. But I don't know when, but sometime you may be going 70 miles an hour and you need to stop. They might not work. You might die. You might kill somebody. I'm just saying, the brakes aren't 100%. You're like, what? So you need new brake pads? Like, no. Brake pads are fine. It's just something with the car that 1 out of every 10 times, I'm going to change it. 1 out of every 10 times, it won't work. That's just kind of what it equals out to. My question is, would you drive the car? And you could say yes, but guess what? That car wouldn't even pass inspection, which means you couldn't get an inspection sticker, which means that it wouldn't be legal to ride it anyway. So even if you chose to ride it, hopefully it's on your own private property where you're not responsible for anybody's life except your own. But if you're on the public roads, you can't drive that. That's not up to standards. And if we have standards like that for our vehicles, then why can't we have standards like that for our relationships, our relationship vehicles? Because a relationship is a vehicle to get you somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Charles.
Come here, say something. I was on mute. Hey, yeah. But we do got some more comments in there. Let me get some of these out because they're going through the roof. So we got Scott Dawn. She says, "Thank you, my kings, Charles Brakely and the Love Doctor." We definitely appreciate you. Thank you, Scott Darling. We have a comment from the YouTube side, and this person here, Super Kick Party. He says, "I'll let you go ahead and read that one, Naeem."
All right, Super Kick Party. Hold on, I gotta get up and kick something. Hold on, kick. All right, Super Kick's a party now. All right, so when we come to Christ, we know. I crack myself up. I'm telling y'all. I'm glad that y'all talking to me because I'd be sitting here by myself doing this. All right, so when we come to Christ, we're no longer the most important person in the world to us. Christ is. Period. That's a period. All right. So instead of living only for ourselves, we have a higher goal to live for Jesus. Thank you for that comment, Super Kick Party. And if I may ask you personally, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to live for Jesus? To, instead of just living for ourselves, what is the higher goal? How can you translate that to someone that may not relate to the language of Christ and Jesus, right? Because I can't speak for everybody listening here, and I'm not going to offer my own personal interpretation, but I'm asking you, what does that mean if I was a child saying, Super Kick Party, how do we live for Jesus? What's the higher goal? How do we come, when coming to Christ, what does that mean? How do we change? How do I behave? How do I act toward my friends, my family? What does it mean? So If you care to share, please share that answer in the comments. Sky says no. Billy says no. I think that was in the relation to the question of, do you know everything, right? Billy says everyone basically has their own perception. Therefore, find those who roam within your realm. Roam within your realm. I like your language. All right. And Sky says, is that a practice of an individualist? What exactly? That's a good question. Is that the practice of an individualist? We might have been a few minutes past when you said this comment. So is what the practice of an individualist? That's my question. And Kendra says, the act of arguing, I don't believe is healthy, but I do believe it is healthy to be around people who challenge me. It is up to me to try what they say or not. Okay, so Kendra and everyone, it's a good point. You said you don't believe the act of arguing is healthy, but you believe that people who challenge you is healthy. So what is the difference between an argument and a challenge? It's my question to Kendra and anybody who wants to share. What's the difference between an argument and a challenge? And can a challenge be helpful? And can a challenge be hurtful? And etc. So, because she did say, Kendra did say, it is up to me to try what they say or not. So it doesn't mean you have to take up the challenge, right? Okay, so continuing, Izzy said that's a great example of scenario. I got plenty. I got examples and scenarios for days and nights, Izzy. Thank you. Sky says amen. And Sky and Izzy are talking. So hello, Izzy meditates. How you doing? Izzy says, hey, all is well. Sunflowers. Okay, so we got that. Anybody else have anything they want to share or ask? It's good questions. I know it's Charles, how about you? I feel like I've been talking for a while. I'm gonna eat a piece of mango right now.
Nah, you good, man. I'm just back here busy, pushing the comments through. They commenting heavy, so I'm cool right now. I have questions in a little bit, but right now I'm good. So thanks. But I would like to say this is all Naeem Najib's work, and I don't know if you have it up, Naeem, but if you would like to, you could share that information and let everyone know where they can get all your books. He has 12 to his name and more counting. So definitely support the man. This is all his work. And again, we're not borrowing this from, Google or anything like that. This is all Naeem's work. So definitely check him out. Awesome brother. So Naeem, if you want to share that, if you have it, where they can reach you.
I'd be having it. Let me see. I'm gonna go and share my screen. If you can go ahead and
yes, sir,
share it. I'm typing my name in Amazon right now, and there's some of my works. So Love is Not a Game, Communication, all these things. They're here. Please also, if you like the work, just leave what's it called? Leave feedback, leave your honest feedback about the ratings and the stars and some things to help people, because some people leave negative feedback and they don't know what they're talking about because their feedback don't even make sense. So the more positive feedback we have, and all the books are here. So we got books on communication, on selfishness, on socializing, on cults, on trust, on cohabitation, on sexual communication, all that sort of thing. Also have an online class.
All right. He must have broke up. Hold on. He must have. Oh, wait, here he is right here. All right. He's back.
I was tricked. I pressed the wrong button. I thought I was clicking stop that screen share.
I didn't know what happened. I said, well, maybe his computer died,
Yeah.
Okay.
I have what do they call that? Media fatigue, like being in front of screen fatigue. So it's like I'm just my hand is just like in this. I'm like, hand, just stop. Like, but we're fatigued. It's like just wait till we're done. We only got a few more minutes left. Come on. So that was my hand, everybody. It wasn't me. And so yeah, you can look on Amazon and find the books. And I was saying I have an online course about love, that little mini course, only take you an hour to take it. Please inquire,
Yeah, I
email
took
me.
it. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. It doesn't take long at all. Within an hour, I got done. So it was nice. It was a while back I took it, but
Yes.
it was good. I like that.
It was called What is Love? So basically answering the fundamental question, the age-old question, what is love? Because everybody want to act like they got the answer, but they don't. So we're just giving you answers and questions and a way of looking at it that works and that has guaranteed results. And so it answers the question, what is love? So you can go on and practice doing it rather than pontificating about it. Only takes an hour. And the way that the course is $33. And if you're listening to this right now, we'll give you a code, you can get it for $11. So it's $33.33. Or if you inquire, you can get it for $11.11. And also, the principle that we work with here is that no one will be turned away because they cannot pay. So if you inquire and you say, listen, I don't have any money to, or, whatever, then you could at least offer a testimonial. So ask and you shall receive. And if you offer us a testimonial, and you'll receive the course for $0. So listen, there's no excuse. It's very easy, very simple. It's available. Email me at naeem@naeemnajib.com or love101media@gmail.com, and you will receive an answer. So yeah, anybody got any other questions or comments? I lost.
Yes, they do. I'm going to pull them up right now.
And when I signed out, I lost the comments. Oh, Sky is saying, what's up to Kendra Moore? How you doing? Billy says, nothing, because either can leave good or bad feelings toward one another. What was that? Is that Billy's? Okay. Older question. Nothing, because either can leave good or bad feelings toward one another. Trying to remember what that was, because last Billy's comments was everyone basically have their own perception, therefore find those who roam within your realm. Okay. And there's a number 31 here, everybody. 31. Is that good?
Yeah, you gotta elaborate on that.
Days of the month.
That's coming from YouTube. Definitely appreciate the love over there. Thank you.
All right.
And Dreddy Girl also says it was about challenge versus argument. Okay. Cool.
All right. So the challenge. All right. So go back to that comment on Billy, what either can leave good or bad feelings. All right. So here's a common misconception that we have, is that we can cause one another bad feelings. And whether you meant this or not, Billy, I just want to use your comment as a springboard to launch the truth about feelings, which is this. First, let me start with the lie about feelings. The lie is, you said something that hurt my feelings. I'm upset now. That's a lie. The truth is, you do not experience the effect. Your feelings are not at the effect of what someone else does or says. I'm talking about your emotional feelings, not your physical body. Like somebody sticks you with a needle, it's going to hurt, right? Unless it's numb. But emotional, that's your responsibility, Naeem and everybody else. No one can make you feel good, bad, right, or wrong. Or no one can make you feel happy or sad. Your feelings come from what guide you're listening to. And there's only two, love or fear. If you're listening to the guide of love, you will feel the feelings that feel like good feelings, happiness, joy, contentment, enthusiasm, appreciation. You'll feel that stuff. If you listen to the guide of fear, which is always perceiving incorrectly, you will feel the feelings of misery, upset, anger, guilt, suspicion, jealousy, etc. So how does that look like? All right, so I'm like, man, I said something and y'all didn't agree with me. I feel like y'all just turned your back on me. You betrayed me. You took this other person's side. I feel like you're my friend. You're supposed to take my side. I feel betrayed. Now, that's a common feeling, right? But what happened is, did your friend betray you? Or did you believe that your friend was supposed to behave a certain way? Meaning when there were sides to be chosen, that your friend was supposed to pick your side, regardless of what your side was. You believe that a friendship means loyalty, and loyalty no matter what. And even if you're wrong, your friends are supposed to be on your side, because if they're friends, they're supposed to be down. And now they betrayed you because you feel like they shouldn't be able to make their own decisions about what they want to believe or feel or express. They got to be on your side. So even if you were dead wrong, right? You were in an accident, an at-fault accident. You ask your friend, like, oh, don't say when the police come, don't tell them that I hit them. Say that you saw them hit me, right? And if you don't, you're betraying me. You're a snitch, right? This kind of thing. This is just fill in the blank, any kind of scenario. But the question is, would that be the truth? And we already saw the clarity chart for what love is. Love is down there on trust and truth. So what would the other side be? Fear would be lies and untruths. So if you think that someone's supposed to lie for you in order to be your friend, that they're supposed to take your side no matter what, then what's happening is they're not betraying you if they choose to tell the truth or choose another side. They are betraying your idea of them. Your idea of friendship is be on my team no matter what I do. Even if I hurt you, don't report it. Don't go to the hospital. Don't go to the police, right? You're a snitch. You're bad. You're wrong. I'm your friend. I've done this. I've done that. And yeah, I've hurt you, but so what? You're not supposed to, you don't tell anybody about that. Say you fell down the stairs. If you don't say you fell down the stairs, I'm going to push you down the stairs. Right? Does that sound like a healthy relationship to you? I'm making a joke of it, but it's actually what a lot of us live through in many different levels. So if it's not a physical push, it may be that verbal escalating argument that we were talking about. It may be that, oh, I'm going to, that subtle passive aggressive, oh, I'm just not going to talk to you, or I'm going to block you, I'm going to deny you, right? I normally pick you up from work or make food for you. Now I'm not going to pick you up for work. Take the bus because I'm mad. I'm not going to, make your own food, get your own food. I'm mad at you, right? Which is still an attack, not because they have to pick you up or have to, but because they're like, well, you're not following what I said you should follow. So now you're not loyal. You betrayed me. But again, no one can betray you. They can only betray your idea of them. Your idea of what a friend means, what they should be doing, what a family, what a brother means, what a cousin means, what an aunt means, what a wife or husband means, what that means to you. And if you haven't specifically spelled out that meaning, that a friend, when I rob a bank and I come back with loads of cash and I leave it in your apartment and I go run off because the cops are coming and the cops knock on the door and say, were they here? If you're a friend, you have to say, no, I was not here. And no, there's no money in the apartment. That's what a friend means to me. If you didn't spell that out to somebody specifically, how are you going to end up feeling betrayed? Because if they're like, yeah, leave that money here with me. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. And then next thing you know, you come back, the money is gone. They're like, nah, the cops came. They took it, And next thing you know, they were driving around in a Lamborghini. Like, yeah, the cops just was like, have this Lamborghini. This lie is falling apart. The story is falling apart right now. But if you, even if they agree that that's what they're going to do for you, don't think that that's what they're going to do for you. Everybody's free. Everybody's free to change their mind too. So human beings are human beings. Human beings are going to do what human beings do, which means human beings can change their mind. Human beings change. And the only thing that's certain is that things will change. So Kendra says, argument is self-centered, i.e., listen to me, I'm right. Thank you for that, i.e. Challenge is bringing another point into perspective for another person to consider, i.e., you may want to consider X, Y, Z, and respecting their choice. So you're saying that challenge is bringing another point to their perspective for them to consider and respecting their choice to consider it or not consider it, right? So that means that love would not push you or pull you toward its position. Love is like, this is my position, and your position may not be the same as my position. Like this area here, that's my position. Your position may be over there. It's fine for you to have that position. Maybe you want to look at this position. Take a look. Not, your position is stupid. Look at this position. It's smart, right? Your position is wrong. Look at this position. It's right. Love doesn't do that. Love is just like, that's your position and you're free, because love is freedom. You're free to have that position. You're also free to choose to look at another position, and you don't have to. And if it was really love, if they say, yeah, I know you said I should look at your position because it makes sense, but I don't want to. I want to stay with my position. Love would be like, I respect it. And that's it. All right. We're not going through a war over this. It's just like Kendra said, respecting their choice. So let's see what else anyone has to say. Kendra says, hi, Sky. Izzy says, yes, with the hands emoji. I'm doing the emoji now, y'all. I can be an emoji. I can do them. Watch. Like I can do this. I can do the winky face. I can do the smile. I can do a lot of them. I can't do all of them, but a lot of them. All right. And Steven says, that's the truth. All right. Any other questions or comments? And we have something in the private chat. M says, okay, but what about when two people have made an agreement about how they will behave in a certain situation? Listen, everybody, and that they have agreed to let the other person know if they change their mind before breaking this agreement. Is that not betrayal? Well, let me say something about betrayal to M and to everybody. Betrayal is a very dangerous position to take, a very dangerous idea to entertain in your life. Meaning, if you entertain betrayal and that you can be betrayed, you automatically entertain the idea that you can be a victim. And there's no scenario in which being a victim is empowering. And love is all about empowerment. So if you want to be empowered, you would dismiss any position that makes you a victim. So yes, what you said. You can make an agreement with someone. It can be specific, as you can be very specific. Like, I loan you $5. You say you're going to pay me back $5 tomorrow at 7:00 p.m. And then before 7 o'clock, like anytime before 7 o'clock, you can't pay me back. Just let me know. It'll be okay. Just let me know. 6 o'clock comes. Nobody says anything. It's like, all right, they're going to pay me back $5. You see them 7 o'clock. You're like, so, hey, what's going on? You're like, hey, what's up? Like, yeah, so about the $5. Like, what $5? The $5 we said yesterday that you was going to pay me back today, like right now, 7 o'clock. I don't know nothing about that, though. But we just have it written down. Like, we have the agreement right here. It's like, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do in that situation, right? Person could have legitimately forgot. They could be legitimately trying to swindle you, right? And either way, they straight up disregarding their agreement and, not honoring it. So what do? You could call it what you want. Call it betrayal. Call it dishonoring. Call it criminal, call it whatever you want. Call it lie, call it deceit. But at the end of the day, here's what it actually is. Y'all ready for this? Y'all not ready for this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm ready for it. So I'm going to look back at this and be like, Naeem, thank you for saying that because I need to hear that. So here's what it is. It's human nature. That's what it is. All right? It's human nature to lie, to deceive, to act in one's own self-interest, to betray, to swindle, to hustle, to double deal and double speak, to say one thing and do another thing. It's human nature. So if you're a human being, know that that's in your nature. And if you're dealing with other human beings, know that that's in their nature. And position yourself that if there's an agreement that you're going to make with somebody, that you ask yourself this question first. Be like, talk to yourself. Be like, Self, check this out. Self is like, what? Like, self, this is what I'm trying to say. All right. Before we go into this, I want to ask you, self, there's a worst case scenario that might happen here. And the worst case scenario is that this person totally disregards what we put out in writing, notarized, witness, 3 witnesses. They totally disregard it. We may lose everything we agreed on. They may betray us. They may go back on their word. We may be left holding the bag. It may be just a disaster. So self, here's what I want to know. If that happens, will you be okay? Self is like, So you mean, let's just take the $5 example. You mean you go and give them this $5 with the agreement that they're going to give you it back tomorrow and that they might not give it back. It's like, no. The worst case scenario is that they never give it back. They may not give it back later. They may just never give it back ever at all. And may even deny that you've even given it to them. It may be like, why are you saying I loaned you something? I didn't loan you anything. They may get hostile with you for even asking, to bringing up the question. My question, self, is, are you okay with that? Self would be like, and this is yourself, but I'm just pretending. No, I'm not okay with that. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're not going to give them the $5. All right? Or self may be like, you know what, but I'm okay. I'm okay giving them 3. I'm okay with that. If they never give that back to me, like, that's all right. I'm okay. I'm all right with that. It's like, okay, self, we'll go back to the table and talk to them and be like, here's $3. That's what I can do. And whether they give it back, it's okay. Whether they don't give it back, it's okay. I'm not going to go back and forth with them. And I know very well that they could just take off and I never see that again. So let's.
Exactly. You give what you know that you're okay with losing. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. If I know, hey, yeah, I may get it back, I may not get it back. So, but I'm all right either way. So it doesn't matter.
So let's make it a little more difficult, though. What about the question, Dreddy Gal asked earlier about deciding whether you want to divorce someone? I don't believe, unless it's for, citizenship or something, that people get married. Got to put the caveat out there. People get married to not be together, right? To not join together, to not have happiness together, right?
Right.
I don't believe that that's why people get married generally. Of course, there will be some acceptance, right? So, I just want to get the citizenship. Here's $10,000. But in other cases, you don't really get married to get divorced. So same conversation, saying with yourself, self, check it out. It's a little higher stakes now. I'm trying to, think about this marriage right now with this person and, sharing our lives together and growing old together and maybe having a family and et cetera, and joining our resources and whatnot. Self is like, cool. And you're like, worst case scenario though, self, it don't work out, don't work out for some reason or the other. And we have to separate, we have to split assets. We have to, it just may be emotionally draining and maybe taxing on, my finances, my body, my everything. Like I may have to pick up and leave from where is that okay? And now I can't really pretend what the self would say for anybody, but I would have to say that love would say, if you make a decision in freedom, appreciation, communication, trust, and sincerity, that yes, that's what you want to do. And if it doesn't work out, knowing that you've done everything you could do in order to have a healthy, vibrant, happy life with this person and marriage and et cetera, and nurture it and feed it in the way that you agreed to and that you said you would, and you find yourself changing because of it. And again, not just negatively, but I'm saying you will always change. In every relationship, there are lessons. And whether you decide to divorce or not, it doesn't mean it has to be painful. It doesn't mean it has to be miserable. You can still learn the lessons together or separately, but do not stay together just because you yourself 10 years ago said that and you're 10 years older and wiser, and now you're like, I have to go with 10 years ago me said, when you know everything in your being is saying that this is not working out, or because you just don't want to anymore. You are entitled and allowed and free to change your mind anytime. And here's another thing that's very hard for people to accept, but very important and true. Your goal and your ministry here on this earth is not to take care of anybody else. It's to take care of yourself. It's not to make anybody else happy. It's to be happy yourself. It's not to be what somebody else wants you to be, even if that's a husband or a wife to them. And they said, I'll do anything to stay with you, but you really don't want to be with them. You weren't born into this world to be what somebody else wants you to be. You were born in this world to have your own experience, Naeem, and everyone. And you get to decide what that is. And you will not be happier or happiest until you make a decision for yourself. If that decision also is the same decision that another person also wants, meaning we want to stay together, fine. But if it's not, also fine. You don't have to do it. You're innocent either way. You're not responsible for anybody else's feelings. You're not responsible for anybody else's decision. You're not responsible for how they choose to see you after that. You can't make anybody happy. You can't make anybody miserable. This is just the truth. You don't have to accept it. But I'm here to offer it because that's what I need to hear. And so when I listen back to this, I'll be proud of myself. So
hey, brother, you did an excellent job. And that's true. Like a lot of times I believe in the 80-20 rule. You know, of course, everybody cannot be that 100%. So you take that 80% and you know, what you can live with and what you can't live with without. I mean, what you can live with and what you can't live without. So if that 80-20, you know, you go in with that, okay, this 80 is what I want. This is okay. This 20% over here is really not that important. I could do without. But I think as time goes on and it's like you said, you mature, sometimes everything, the whole perspective of 80-20 changes. You know, some of that 20% you may need versus the 80% now. So again, if you can't work it out and you talk about it on a continual basis and nothing is still not being worked out, then I think at that point in time, like you said, Naeem, in order to be happy, you have to be happy yourself. If you're not happy, then, you know, it's best to just step off and do what you need to do. So again, you know, I believe if you can't work it out and you talk about it you constantly talk about it and nothing's being done, then you know, it's best to just move on. So that's just my 2 cents. And we do have two comments. Actually, we had 3 comments out there, and we could break that down here. Let's see. And this is a question for you, Naeem. When is it appropriate to compromise? Is it important to be right?
backwards smiley face. Thank you, Carla Toon. And who am I to say it's backwards, right? Because we've been conditioned to say left or right is forward, but who says not? So compromise is a very key term here, because what does it mean to compromise? The meaning that I'll give it, you don't have to accept it, but the meaning I'll give it is to do what you don't want to do. Now, if you freedom, which is love, means you always doing what you want to do. So someone may say, oh, but you compromise, you know, when you were in school, you stayed up late, you wrote your papers, you took classes that, you know, required classes for your major. You didn't want to take those, but you took it because you wanted to graduate. So you're always doing stuff you don't want to do. Yeah, but according to your goal, if you wanted to graduate and you chose that degree and you saw that these classes were part of it, then clearly you wanted the degree more than you didn't want to take these classes. All right. So beyond the little details along the way is the major goal. If you want that degree, which is what you ultimately want, then you will take the classes that you may not like taking. That's the bottom line, right? Because if that's the case, like, well, I just want a degree without ever going to class, doing any work. Okay, how do I do that, right? Well, it won't be a legitimate degree, right? Unless you pay somebody to do it. But anyway, so the point is, when is it appropriate to compromise? Is it important to be right? And I see these questions are setup questions because they're just setting up the truth, which is that love doesn't compromise. All right. If love is committed to something, then love is committed to it. There's no compromise. How am I going to be committed to something that I want and to say I don't want what comes along with it? All right. You may not want it, you may not like it, but you're still, because you want the goal, you're going to go through that. You'll be willing to push through that. That's the point. And is it important to be right? Well, here's the question. Is it important? Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? And I'm not saying you can't have both, because you can be right and happy if you believe that the only right way to be is happy. If your goal is to be happy, then who cares if, the details are off a little bit. Someone's like, typical argument. I called you 4 times and you didn't answer the phone. Like, it only say 3 times on my caller response. I don't see only 3 missed calls. It was 4 times. I'll tell you I called you 4 times. But I'll show you right now. It's only 3. I only see 3 missed calls. But I called you 4. Look at mine. It say 4. No, but it was 3. I don't know. You just talking about it. Now you're going back and forth. What's really being called for here? What's being called for is to join in love together. So instead of saying, was it 4 times? Was it 3 times? Was it 10 times? Was it 1? Who cares? Like, hey, it's good to see you. I missed you. I'm glad we're together now. I'm glad we're talking now. That's happiness. Who cares who's right? Maybe it was 5 times. Maybe you're both wrong. Maybe it was 2 times. Maybe you're both wrong. Who cares? But if what you both want is to be together, why go back and forth over the details? Right? So it's important to be happy. And if you can be happy and be right, then that's right, because you're happy. So Stephen Thompson says, word is your bond. I have some thoughts on that, but I would like to, I'd like you to elaborate on what that means, Stephen. What does that mean? Word is your bond. And Dredigal says, appreciate all that truth and clarity. Thank you for sharing that. And the reason why I ask, in comments, what do you mean, is because I really think I know what you mean. But I'm doing that as an exercise to check myself, because Stephen, I think I really know what you mean when you say word is your bond. But the truth is, I don't know you, and I don't know what you mean. And just because I heard other people say that same thing before, it doesn't mean it means the same thing to you, Stephen. It doesn't mean it means the same thing to me. And if I ask you, what exactly do you mean, then we have a chance for everybody being clear about what you mean by it, instead of what I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean. Word is your bond, because, I had some bonds, I put up some bonds, I had some stocks, and I wrote some words on the page, and them stocks and them bonds, they came back to me tenfold. Yeah, Stephen, making that money. That's what you mean, right? Word and bonds and gold, Goldman Sachs. Yeah. We don't know what each other really means. So that's an important question for communication. What do you mean? Not because I don't think I know, but because I know I don't know for sure. Because if I knew for sure, then it would be because I'm very clear on what you mean. But I don't know. That's the thing. And even for people that you know very closely and intimately, that's an important question to ask everybody. What do you mean? Even when someone says something like, I love you, say, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? They're like, oh, well, I just love being around you. I love your company. I love your aura. I love your presence, They start using different words and start thinking about it. And then you're like, wow, I didn't know when you said you love me that you were thinking about my, my presence and how, whatnot. I didn't know that, all of that. But now that you said it, now I know what you mean. Because I know what I mean when I say I love you. But who knows if you know what I mean when I say it. So that's a practical tool, everybody. Ask that question more often. What do you mean? Because you don't know. All right. I think that's it for now.
Cool. Yeah. So what I'll do is, hey man, awesome as always, brother. But before we go, we're gonna play that A Game commercial again. That is the sponsor of tonight's show. We're gonna play the new commercial so everybody get a chance to see this new commercial. Check it out.
my God. I had to add the other part.
Nah, well, the other one is a little different. But again, that was the new one we have. And again, if you need your free sample of the A game, give me a call. 302-723-2836, 302-723-2836. Okay, this is for men only. Like I said, for vitality, I can't even get it out. Vitality, energy, strength, and libido. So you definitely want to check it out. It's a great product. 21 natural herbs. Hey, we got 2 more comments before we get on out of here. And Steven says, yes, what the intention of your comments? Be clear, concise. That's right. What do you mean? Okay, that's what he said. What do you mean? Maybe you could read. Yeah, there you go.
So, be clear, be concise. Okay.
What do you mean? Yeah.
The intention of your comments. He was repeating. Okay, thank you for that, Stephen. And Izzy says, nice with the eyes.
Hey man, hey, thanks. Hey man, it was an awesome show. Anybody else got anything out there before we pull out? Again, awesome show as always, man. Like I said, great information that was given out, and hey, I appreciate this conversation definitely.
Me too. Thank you everybody for contributing, for coming on, listening and joining.
Mm-hmm.
M says thank you for the dialogue. Thank you, M, for joining.
Yep. Thank you everybody for joining. All right, brother. Any last words before we get on out of here?
What do you mean, Charles?
Here we go.
I'm done. That's it.
You're done. All right, cool. Yeah. Hey, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hope we got one more comment in the back. HT Lovejoy says thank you. Hey, thank you for tuning in, HT Lovejoy. My man Kensu, I hope I said your name right. Thank you very much for the information, brothers. Hey, thank you for joining us, Kensu. And definitely, anytime you want to come on, brother, just let us know. We definitely, anybody want to come on, you just definitely let us know, and we'll let you in on the conversation. And
shoot, Charles, I was wearing this under this. There's my feel good.
Oh, shirt. You got that one on tonight. Okay, I got this one.
It out. Hold on. All right. There we go. Right there. All right.
All right, cool. And we will have some shirts for sale too. We got shirts and hats for sale. So if anyone out there interested, let me know. They should be here by next week. We ran out. We have some left, but we have a big stock coming in next week. So we'll put that online so everybody can check it out. And if you haven't, please go check us out on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk, Facebook at Feel Good Talk, YouTube at FGT Mind, Body, Soul, and Business, and also Instagram at Feel.GoodTalk. We definitely appreciate the listeners on the got a nice size audience on the YouTube side tonight. So thanks for definitely checking us out. You can't see it on this end, but I can see it on this end. So again, thanks for tuning in. We definitely appreciate y'all. And again, this is Feel Good Talk Love 101. I'm your host, Charles Breakley, along with my brother from another, the host of Love 101, Naeem Najee. And everybody that joined us tonight, we're out of here. Join us next week, same time, 7 p.m., right here on Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. And we're out of here. See you when we see you. Peace.